Welcome back to another episode of Dolly's podcast. Today we got the lovely Animes with us. DMV Love up in here, podcaster and music artist. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really excited. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we got her on the podcast today before her event tonight. So, this is the pre-game and stuff going on.
Doing it right. I appreciate the hospitality. This is really nice. We got the fruit snacks on deck. We got some Lunchables, some beers, some tequila. It's about to get real transparent
our own type of charcuterie board with alcohol. I've been listening to your music for a couple years, but I don't know your childhood. So I've listened to a couple of podcasts that you've been in, but I feel like nobody has really asked questions about that. Yeah. I guess for me, my childhood made me who I am. So absolutely. I wonder where do you come from? So how was your child life growing up?
That's so crazy that you asked that because one, that's true. Not a lot of people will go that far. And it's interesting because the ones that have asked me, it's always a challenge for me to talk about. But my childhood was, I want to say it was a mixture of good and bad. A lot of things that I seen growing up, when it came to alcoholism, when it came to, types of abuse and things like that. When it came to just, struggling a little bit, and I feel like that shaped me a lot. I was always taught to be, an overachiever, somebody that's just, you gotta focus. And I feel like in a lot of Latin households, we're taught to kind of suck it up.
Yeah, I was literally about to say that.
Yeah.
You can do it. We came here for a reason to the United States. You be all right.
Absolutely. And honestly, that's one of the things that I always remind myself of. And I feel like that's a good thing, but also it can be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because although it's a great thing that I can tell myself, I know I can because my parents did something that was, in my opinion, way harder. They came into this country.
For sure. Every time I talk to my dad, I thank him. I'm like, thank you for the struggle of
absolutely.
Could you imagine the trip that they took to get here?
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Props to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't ever want to invalidate my emotions. And I feel like that's something that I've done over the years since I was young, and even in moments where I didn't even realize that's what I was doing because it was just so ingrained in me.
For sure.
But yeah, even as a child, music was just always something that I would naturally turn to, whether it was writing poems or writing songs
that's
at a young
cool.
age. Yeah, that was just my way of, I guess, finding a safe space for me. It was always music.
I can relate. I feel like me being a mom, I feel like I go for the gentle parenting route because of the way that we were raised. You know what I mean? You get yelled at for anything.
Anything. So
it's now with my son, I'd be like, what do you feel?
Absolutely.
But we also get joned on for being parents who do gentle parenting. So, I'm an 85% gentle parenting, but I'm also all right, do good. You know what I mean? Don't mess with me.
I think it's crazy. So I don't have any kids yet, but I do plan on having kids. And I think it's something that every parent goes into it wanting the best, but at the end of the day, we can only do but so much.
Yeah,
because
so right.
You're up against society. Yeah. You're up against mainstream social media now, and technology is moving way more faster.
We're both first generation here, so it definitely is different from our parents.
Absolutely.
They don't understand nothing
at all. I mean, even when I started doing music,
oh, I bet
they loved it. They loved that was something that I can tap into creatively. But when it came down to, hey, I want to do this for real and I'm gonna start traveling, doing shows and doing all these cool things, they were like, wait a minute, who are these people? You're a girl, and it's a male-dominated industry, so they have all these different kinds of concerns, and they didn't at that time believe that, having a career in something like music was even attainable. Because it was never, they never seen it.
They probably saw that it was bad, what's the saying, bad looked upon, doing music, and you're a female?
Absolutely. All they saw, drugs, alcohol, sex, they saw the worst
half
of the
naked
worst.
Females.
Yes. But over time, of course, they got to see a different side, and they got to see my success and all these different things. So they're definitely a lot more. Absolutely. And it was a long ride. It's been a long journey, but what I really do appreciate is that regardless, they always stood by me and supported me along the way, even if they didn't understand it. And I'm very grateful for that.
I agree with that. Were you always creative in the mindset of like, did you do any talent shows or like stuff like that? I feel like I see that in movies more. I'm not like an artist. I'm creative in my own ways, like balloons, creativeness, like hobbies and stuff like that, but not in no music.
I've been delusional since before delusional became a trend.
You was ride or die for this.
Yes,
nice.
like it was just second nature to me. Like I believed I was her since I was a child. I think it was for my grandparents' 50th anniversary out in Peru, right? They had a big party.
How old were you?
I want to say I was like somewhere between 6 and 10, and they hired a band, and then obviously like the band took a break, and so
I see an open mic right there, just looking at me a little bit.
And I told my eldest cousin like I want to sing, like I want to go up there.
Wow.
I didn't think it through. I just like I knew that's what I wanted to do, and he made it happen. And I went up there and I started singing "I Did It Again" by Britney Spears, and my parents like walk up. They're just looking at me like, what are you doing?
Oh my God.
My brother's laughing at me.
That's a story for sure. Is there any video of that somewhere?
Oh my goodness. No, and that's what makes my mom so upset because they had a videographer for that night. But by that time, he literally had just packed up and left.
It was one of those times you just live in the moment.
You had to
got
be
it
there.
In your heart,
you just had to be there.
Little animes. So growing up, who did you like look up to? Anybody in your life, like you know, that you just like, damn, they're pretty successful. Like when I grew up, I want to be like them or have a career like them or something.
I want to say aside from like music artists wise, I looked up to Selena. I looked up to Britney Spears, Michael Jackson. I really grew up like around a variety of music.
Right.
But I feel like more than anything, I looked up to my mom a lot. She, in my eyes, she's like the biggest thug I know.
Okay.
You know,
Mama Maze.
Yeah, like she really overcame so much, like coming here, learning the language, getting her bachelor's, her master's, raising 2 kids. Like
that's not very common. I'm just saying.
And alone, because most of the entire family actually is pretty much in Peru. So she's just like out here, just like getting shit done.
Where are you from?
I was born and raised here, but I'm Peruvian.
100%?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. What was the moment you like making these poems and making music? What was the moment you were like, okay, I'm gonna do this and start publishing stuff like this, either online or like, I don't know, just an example, like a boys and girl club thing, you know, maybe a little performance here and there. Like, what was the moment you were like, you know what, I'm gonna do it?
I would definitely say it was at the age of 16 when I recorded for the first time. This was back when MySpace Music was a thing. And I like, one of my homies like out in DC was the only one on the block to have Pro Tools. Like the very early stages of Pro Tools.
I'm going to your house. We hanging out after school.
Yeah, okay. And so I remember going to his crib, and this is so embarrassing. The very first song that I recorded was "Music Is My Boyfriend."
Okay. I mean, it's a little understandable, you know, that's all you got. Like, that's your love right there. Your first love?
Yes, absolutely.
You gotta let your fiance know that.
Oh,
yeah, I'm sure he knows that already. He's like, before you, I had this love.
This was my first love.
That's cool, though. You have such a passion. And we've only been podcasting for like maybe 5-10 minutes. And I can already tell your love for music is like so huge.
It's just, it's in my blood. And I'm not even gonna lie. There was like a point where I wanted to just give it up. Like I wanted to quit. And it's crazy because there's just always gonna be that something to pull you back. And that's how you know, like, you didn't choose this life. Like, this life chose you.
Yeah, for sure. Even your mind. Like, your mind would just be like, you know what? This ain't working out. I'm not feeling it for right now. But there's waves. There's highs and lows. Absolutely. So you just always come back to it and you're like, no, this is meant for me.
Absolutely.
Did you have any other dreams before this animes popped off? Like, when you were a little girl, were you like one of those, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a doctor? Anything crossed your mind? Or you were like, this is it?
My first dream was always to be an artist. Like, it just felt like that was
music
meant for
artist.
Me. Yeah.
Okay.
Was in high school. I had a class my junior year. And so that definitely sparked something in me. And it, in a sense, it's still kind of related to music, you know? And that's when I kind of started finding my voice as a radio personality. You know, at that time, I was familiar with Angie Martinez. And I was like, oh shit, I want to be the next Angie Martinez from Hot 97. You know, I was thinking like, I can do this.
That's
so
cool.
I saw that as a possibility. And also, I even thought about being a psychologist for a little bit until my computer teacher shut that dream down.
For
I was
you?
like, never mind.
Well, why? Did she have a history with it or something?
No, so we were in class and she was like, let's go in a circle and say like what you want to major in. And so when it came to my turn, I was like, I want to major in psychology. She was like, don't do that. It's a waste of money.
Damn.
Like,
she was mad at her ex-husband like shit.
Who knows? She was definitely projecting. And so because of that, I was like, never mind then.
Oh my God. I mean, I feel like with that, you can kind of learn it by yourself. Like, you know, women instincts ain't no joke.
Yeah.
I believe in us in like that so much.
Mm-hmm.
I had a question. Like you said, you were doing the media stuff. Was it like, were you behind the camera or were you like behind the mic? Like, were you the one on the like the little, you know, like, good morning, today is
So,
like, or
yeah.
like, was your face on the TV?
Well, so we did a couple of things. We started off just by using like a little recorder and just getting like ambient sounds. And then kind of like telling some kind of story over the ambient sounds and like plugging it in certain places. We, you know, got into DJing. Like they had brought in like a DJ to help us like understand music and how to mix them together. And then even to get to a point where I think we did something with NPR one time where we had like a discussion about something. And this was like the first time I had been on a mic like this, you know.
So just confirming, that was like a class and / course. It wasn't like the morning news.
No, the only thing that we did something like that was during lunch. Everybody's outside on the field. We like did we played music and we talked in between the music, and that's something that we did. Yeah.
That's so nice. What's the background behind TyRithmz, the name? Is there like a reason or did it just happen?
I want to say a bit of both. So Anna's not my real first name.
Really?
It's not.
I'm over here like, hey Anna, happy birthday.
It actually comes from my middle name, Giovanna.
Well, that's so cool.
Mm-hmm. So one day I was sitting in the studio with this producer named Mark Henry, and he discovered me back in 2016. And back then I went by a different name. And he wanted to produce me. And one of those things, like a part of producing me, was changing my name. You know, changing my brand.
So is that because so it can sound like more catchy?
I would say yes, but also something a little bit more where it had more longevity. I feel like the name that I had before was very young, you know, because when I first started like doing music professionally, I kind of blew up on accident. And so I got stuck with a childhood nickname.
Can we say the name, or is it because you don't use it? Let's like keep it on the DL.
It's fine. I feel like some people
I know you don't even know what it is.
The fact that your man knows 93 till infinity. I was Smiley back then. Yeah, because you know.
I mean, you're Smiley,
exactly.
So that makes a lot of sense.
So
Wow.
my Smiley, yo Smiley, and I was going through a breakup with an independent label based out in Houston.
Okay.
And so I was just at a point where I knew I needed to rebrand. Like I took a year off. I met this producer, and he wanted to, you know, work with me. And so we rebrand. We wanted to have two names in my name. Anna was one of them because it comes from my middle name. And the other one, we were literally looking through the dictionary just for words. And we came across the word maze. And I was like, that's the one. Because it resonated with me the most.
Does it come from being amazing?
No, it doesn't. It comes from being a mess. It comes from being a mess. Because when you think about it in life, we're all lost in our own maze. We're all trying to find happiness.
That's very beautiful.
Love, you know, different kinds of things.
That's deep.
Yeah. And it made so much sense for me because that's literally the type of music and motivation that I speak about, you know, just a whole healing
you figure
journey.
it out. Like you never know what's to come, and that's so cool. That is so deep.
Yeah.
I love that. Like,
thank you.
That should be your little slogan or something at this point, because a lot of people don't know that probably.
Yeah.
I thought it was for amazing.
No, that works out.
Right, either or. Look at the bad or good, yin and yang.
Yeah.
So how's your support system to this day?
It's been pretty good, actually. It's gotten really strong. You know, I feel like over the years, we start off with like a big team, really big team.
Well, I feel like you start off a little slow, but then again, it depends where you're talking about starting.
Yeah,
like it depends what part in your life you're talking about
For
starting.
me, I started off with a really big team, and I was very naive jumping into this game. I believe that everybody was as nice and you know caring as I was, and they call you family. And you take that and you run with it because it means so much to you because you're that type of person to treat somebody like their family, you know. But unfortunately, not everybody is like that. And so I had to learn the hard way over the years that, you know, you can't trust just anybody. And so my circle went from it's definitely the most peaceful. And I've learned a lot over the years.
For
I've
sure.
learned a lot to be able to discern good from bad energy. You know, something that my younger self didn't know how to do. I gave everybody a chance, you know.
Right. I mean, I feel like a lot of people don't have, I guess, just like the creative ambition, and they look at you like, well, she's my friend, so, you know, like, I guess I'm kind of like her, because, like, you know, why would she want to be my friend? But at the same time, like, do they bring value to you? No.
Right.
You know, they just use you, and they're like, yeah, take me with you when you get up there.
Basically.
But I'm just saying, what does the DMV mean to you?
I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. It's a hate or love thing.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. DMV, since I was young, has always been something that I always wanted to put on from where I'm from.
Because you're ride or die, but like how you were saying, you have that good integrity within yourself. You were like, I'm gonna make it for these people. Yeah, I feel that for sure.
And I met a lot of like successful people from like DMV that would advise me to get away, and I never understood it. In my head, I'm just like, nah, like y'all don't get it. Like it's bigger than just me, right? I'm always trying to save somebody.
I'm gonna abandon the DMV.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna be the difference. But you know, over the years, I started to notice when I started traveling, especially, you know, traveling to like New York, Miami, Houston. I see the difference in the support when it comes to the people.
Right.
Like I lived in Houston for about a year, but even before that, I would always go back and forth to Houston. And out there's a lot more opportunities for artists. They put on a lot more showcases, and when they put on showcases, everybody's involved. I'm talking about like radios involved, clothing lines, even food trucks are out there, and everybody's supporting everybody. Everybody out there trying to get a bag.
That's lit.
Yeah, because they
we want to go over there real quick.
You have to. You really have
That's
to.
nice. I do have a couple family members in Texas, so maybe one day.
You definitely should. You're missing out. And the thing about this area, when I first started coming up, they had showcases. Like I was a part of a lot of them. I used to host a lot of hip hop showcases and open mics. And then something over the years, like it just kind of slowed down. And now there's not even a lot of like opportunities for artists to even perform. And if they do have an opportunity to perform, they have to pay.
They're asking for a bank on that thing.
No, for real.
That's crazy.
It's really wild.
Okay, Clara. The DMV, maybe because it's the nation's capital, they're like at this point, you know, with all the social media stuff now, they're just like, nah, you want to perform here?
Yeah, this area is definitely a lot more fast paced. And I mean, to be honest, we don't have like a lot of like, we don't have label buildings. We don't have distribution for music buildings, but you have that in all these other places.
Anime is one coming soon.
Actually, yeah, that's one of my goals like for the future, you know.
That's
and
amazing.
I think years ago, a few years back, with my producer, we started May Sound, which was like a label for artists to help develop, because now artist development doesn't exist.
Yeah, they stick to like what is it used to be like SoundCloud and stuff like that. That's how they make their music, and there's like, all right, here, listen to my music.
No content, no promotion, no nothing.
I think that's the max.
Yeah.
Just word of mouth.
Yeah. And I created that around a time where I was depressed, and I felt like that was it for me. But I was like, I know too much to not pass it down.
When you were going through that?
Yeah, that was back in 2018, 2019. It might have been 2019.
That's sweet of you, though. Like, when you're having your toughest moments, you're like,
I still want to, you know, give back. And that was around the time where I discovered Chris.
You really have a good heart.
Ani. Yeah, of course. I've learned so much over the years. Like, why not pass it down? You know, like, at the end of the day, I want to see my city win. I want to see everybody eat. Just because, you know, people take from my plate and don't look out for me doesn't mean that I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, be hard and be that way to the next person. You know, I refuse to live like that.
Did you expect to be where you are now?
No.
Animes when you were a little girl?
No.
Like, even though I asked you earlier, like, what was your, like, when you want to be older type vibe? Like, you said an artist, and now you are an artist.
Yeah. Well, okay, maybe yes and no.
You wanted to be a teacher.
I want to say yes, because when I was a kid, like, I believed it. I believed it like it was like Bible.
About being an artist?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, when you feel it, it's just nobody can tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
That's so amazing.
So, yeah, I can definitely say that. But I guess I feel like there's that child me, and then there's the teenage, you know, or like the early 20s you. I feel like that person, didn't expect me to be here.
What was teenager you like? Were you like the skipping school type? Were you like the straight A's?
I would definitely say when I used to be like a really good student, you know, A's, B's. When I hit junior years, when I really started to experience life, love, like heartbreak, like just different things, and that's when like I failed for the very first time. I had to go to summer school. Yeah, but
writing poems and music while you was in there, like I'm
absolutely.
locked up.
Pretty much.
But it builds you to who you are today. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? Like I feel like everything happens for a reason, and I've said this so many times, but
absolutely,
the troubles of childhood, the troubles of just being a teenager, like. You're just like, I'm done with that stuff. Just ready to make it in life.
Absolutely.
What do you see in your future when it comes to your goals? If you're able, you know, to give a little insight on them, keep some things on the DL maybe, but
yeah.
What are some goals that you have for yourself? Just anything that like, you know, like you just want to achieve in life.
I definitely want a family. I think I'm definitely at that point in my life where, I mean, I've always wanted to be a mom. But it was like a thought that in the past, like I never felt like it was close. Because I always put so much energy into music.
You never saw the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Right.
Music was always first. And now after like being with this person, who's like my best friend, it's like, now I see something else. Yeah. And I definitely want to continue doing what I do, like do music and being an influencer and trying to, I feel like right now I'm on the cusp. Like I'm right here. And I just know it's like.
What does that mean?
Like I am there. I just need like something or a little missing puzzle piece to get me worldwide, to get me, you know, more exposure. Where like
is that that woman intuition that I was talking about? You feel it within yourself?
I feel it. Like I know
That's
it's
great.
there, and it's crazy when you know it's there. That's when you're gonna have your most battles.
Yes.
And it's been an uphill journey. Yes.
I agree so much on that, man.
So I know that's coming. Yeah. I'm just taking everything day by day for real. Trying to learn how to also be in the present moment for real. Because I used to always like even write down my goals. You know, I used to do that as a kid.
Are you a vision board type of girl?
When I was younger, yes.
What we were talking about, are you a hopeless romantic?
I am, and I hate it sometimes.
Are you into like the love movies and like just people like seeing them in love makes you happy?
Yes. I think there was like a period of my life where I hated rom-coms. I hated like those little romance movies. Like put me a fucking serial killer documentary. I'll watch those. I'll go to sleep to those.
If I'm not getting love, nobody gets love.
But honestly, I love it because I feel like there's like a shift in my life where I'm a lot more peaceful now. I'm a lot more like forgiving, not only to other people, but also learning how to forgive myself. So I feel more like more whole.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier for me to digest, you know, seeing happy endings happen in movies or in series. And to be honest, it makes me so happy that like, finally, we got to the happy ending. This is the happy ending that I wanted. Thank you.
For yourself?
Basically, it's like, it's almost as if I'm living vicariously through watching a show.
Right, yeah.
And it's
because
like,
you don't believe that it's true.
Exactly.
That means, like, that just shows how much in love that you are, where it's just like, nah, this is not true. I'm just waiting for you to fuck up. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a lot of power, and it's really beautiful to have, I guess, a little bit of ignorance. You know, I feel like when we're young, you know, you fall in love with the first boy and you're like, this is the one. And then it's not.
Or one of those, like, I'm going to change him to be right for me.
And then you don't.
That's crazy.
And so a lot of that back to back can make you, it can strip you of that hope.
Right.
So it's good to know that my heart is like filling back up with a lot of that now. And it allows me to walk more positively, you know.
I also feel like, yes, what you're saying is 100% right, but it's also like when things happen without you even looking for it or planning for it, that just brings like the cherry on top where it's like, wait, what? I like you? Wait, where did you even come from? I'm so confused. I wasn't even outside.
That's my whole story with this guy here.
Oh, that is so cute. Yeah, I definitely have a couple questions if he shows up, but if not, you know, definitely understandable. What do you see in your future as far as happiness? Just like anything in life, love, just your family, anything that you just like, you're like, I want to make sure this happens.
I think first and foremost, I want to no longer feel guilty for taking breaks.
That's a good one.
That's great. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the times people think happiness is external, like it's like other things, like actual tangible things, or like something that you can see.
for an example, maybe like you're successful, you have this platform. What are you doing? Get your shit right.
Right.
But it's deeper than that.
It's way deeper, you know, and because, you know, being a creative and being independent, you're your own boss.
Yeah.
And that comes with a lot of pressure. You know, it's not like a regular 9 to 5, which sometimes I'd be like, damn, that life seems so much easier because at least you're being told what to do and you know what to expect. Exactly. On the other side. Yes. Whereas with like what we do, because we're businesses, we have to learn how to adapt. Yes. Without losing who we are.
Like there's just so much going on, but you still have to run this shit and do this and do that. And it's just crazy out.
And most importantly, like, we have to learn how to take breaks also.
For sure.
You know, and that's something that I want to eventually be able to do without feeling any guilt.
I think that also goes with like having like a good support system or like close friends, because like they'll get to know you like for who you really are. When they don't see you posting or do this, they're like, you okay? Like what's going on? Like let's do something. Let's do a vision board. Like what's on your mind? Like girlfriends. Like I just feel like they can pull you out of a rut. But if they're really your true friends.
That's true.
Which I don't got many.
Girl, it be like that. And it sucks sometimes. I mean, it's a good trait, but I feel like it sucks sometimes when you have to be your own cheerleader. You know, you have to be the one to tell yourself every morning, like, I know you feel this way, but you got to keep going. You got to get up. You got this. But sometimes even heroes need heroes.
And that's what our men are here for. My man is my best friend, like every single day. Good. Like I just swear, like, I don't know, I can't live a day without him. I have no idea what I'd be doing right now. But the reason that I started this podcast was because my brother had passed away. So I feel like he was my outlet when I was going through something, you know, I needed a break. I was like, hey, what you doing? Let me pull up. Get some beers, just hang out. But now that he's gone, it's kind of like I have nowhere to go to. So this podcast is that for me. So I appreciate you being on this podcast.
Of course.
I'm not sure if your fiance is going to pull up, but if anything, we can cut it here. I appreciate you coming on this podcast so much. Of course. And I can't wait to have you another time and see like what the success is and his new things. Maybe a baby on the way.
Baby Maze.
Baby Maze. Thank you so much for being on this podcast. And I appreciate you so much. And the DMV love is so big that it's like, if she's trying to make it for you guys, we gonna do it. And if you guys don't appreciate it, then you go see her up there on the TV screen while you're chilling at home doing that.
Preach.
And her birthday and her club event is tonight, so I know she has a couple things to do. So thank you guys for watching, and I will have her links down below for her social media. And thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Of course, thank you.
I appreciate you so much.